cracking, party people? It's your girl Nicole Banister, aka NIKKI BANZ, coming to you live back home in Cape Town, South Africa. I do this every single Tuesday, so welcome back to NIKKI BANZ Live! All right, party people. What's Gucci? How y'all doing out there? What an absolute treat. What an absolute pleasure to see you all here today. Honestly, Tuesdays have become my favorite day of the week because I get to sit here and interact with all of you beautiful people. Chrissy is saying hello from NYC. Hello, hello. I see Mama and Papa Bands are in the building. Okay, I see Philip is in the building. I see we got all sorts of dope people here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you all. Thank you for tuning in every single week to NIKKI BANZ Live. Love you all so much. Thank you. You love the lip color. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, I try to keep it cute, try to keep it popping for you. Got all the flowers in the background. You already know the vibes. Shout out to Christine in the building. Hey, baby girl. Hello, everyone that's here. This is so dope. I'm so happy to have you. As y'all know, the past 3 weeks, I have not been having the show in Cape Town. I have been on the road. I was in Greece. I was in Cyprus. I was doing my little hot girl summer thing, Euro tripping around the Mediterranean. And oh my goodness gracious, if you have not yet had the chance to go to Greece or to go to Cyprus, I need you to go visit absolutely incredible countries. Greece has so many different islands you can visit. We were in Athens for a little bit, and then we went over to another huge island called Crete. And Crete is actually like almost the same size as Cyprus. So it's a huge and beautiful place. And it was just so, so cool to just be there, to experience the culture. We ate so much delicious seafood. The seafood. Just the seafood. It was so delicious. I'm talking like whole grilled fresh squid. Have you ever eaten a whole fresh squid? To die for. It was fantastic. So, shout out to Greece and Cyprus where I was these past couple of weeks. But now I'm back in Cape Town. You know me. I'll be here for a couple weeks and I'll be jet setting again. You already know the vibes. So it's super dope to have you all here. I'm so grateful. Honestly, today I have a super interesting, super stellar guest. Her name is Marintia Eiko. She is a YouTuber with 111,000 subscribers on YouTube. She is an incredible YouTuber and she literally just vlogs about her life. And let me tell you that this girl lives one of the most fascinating dynamic lives that I have seen. And part of the reason for that is because she is mixed race. She is half Ghanaian, half Japanese, okay? Shout out for the mixed kids one time. You already know that your girl, NIKKI BANZ, is mixed. I am half Black American, half Iranian. So I am so stoked to be able to talk with another fabulous young person, another amazing person out there in the world who is actually sharing their story, talking about their culture, their life, vlogging all about it. And clearly she is doing something right because the girl Marintia, not only does she have a huge Instagram following, like I said, but she's an incredible YouTuber with so many different folks following her and watching her. So I see that Marintia is in the building. I'm gonna bring you on in just a second, baby girl. But I've been doing this for the past couple of weeks and I'm gonna say it again here right now today. If you are not yet following what's happening in Iran, if you have not yet posted something on Instagram or on any platform about Iran, I need you to please take some time to educate yourselves. The women and girls of Iran are literally fighting for their lives right now. The morality police is policing the way that women dress, policing how women wear their hair, policing how women wear their hijabs, and are murdering women in the process because of it. We as women, we as humans around the world who believe in women's rights, who believe in human rights, please keep eyes on Iran. Please share, please repost, because the only way that we're going to continue to bring awareness to what's happening to the women and girls in Iran is if we continue to talk about it. So, I've been talking about it the last couple weeks on my show. I had to talk about it here again today. But please keep eyes on Iran. The people of Iran need us. Thousands of people are being murdered in the streets of Iran as a result of these protests and these revolutions. And we want the Iranian people to emerge victorious. So please, please, please keep eyes on Iran. Please share some of the amazing guests I've had on my show, some of the amazing Iranian Americans, Bita Milanian, Tehran, other people like Maz Jobrani. Those are people that you can follow to share information about what's happening in Iran. Merci, merci, merci. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, party people, I think it's time time to get this show on the road. Once again, we got Marintia Eiko in the building, an incredible YouTuber sharing stories about her life. She's all over the world. She's all over the place. She has such an incredible and dynamic lifestyle, and we're going to get into it right freaking now. Yeah. Okay, you know I love my sound effects, so we're going to do a little drum roll, please. Here we go. Hey, let go.
Ooh, there we go. Finally.
Yay! What's cracking, baby girl?
What's good? How are you?
Oh my gosh, I am so good. I am so happy to have you here. We have been trying to plan this for like months, and we finally did it. Yay!
I know, finally, right? It's been how many months since we first met in Dubai? Maybe almost half a year.
Literally, like 6-7 months from March.
Wow, but I'm so proud of you. This is like an awesome show you have on Instagram, and you have your sound effects, you have everything going on. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. You know, It's like me, I wish sometimes I could do YouTube. I wish I could like record myself and then put it up there, but I love the live element. Like I love that you never know what could happen. You know, maybe like the power goes out, maybe someone gets a phone call in the middle of the live and then the whole thing stops. Like I love that dynamism of being live, you know?
I feel you. I would live stream too one day, but you know, one step at a time.
Yes. You know, girl, we see you growing the platforms. We see you building, doing all the things.
Thank you. Yes, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I know you already mentioned it, but I always gotta give a shout out to like the way that I know the guests who are on my show here on NIKKI BANZ Live. And like you said, we met at the Nas Summit in Dubai back in March, and it was this incredible conference with all the content creators, the YouTubers, the TikTokers, the Snapchatters, the podcasters. It was like any kind of content, even LinkedIn, any kind of content. The people were there talking about their experience, and so I met you at this amazing summit.
I know, we met on the first day, and the event as a whole was amazing. Literally people from all over the world coming to share their different experiences. And we got to meet, you met a bunch of African creators as well, and then we reconnected on Instagram. And I was like, girl, if we're ever in South Africa at the same time, let's make a video. But, you know, this live stream came first, so we love to see it.
Exactly. We do the live stream now. We become best friends, and then YouTube videos in Cape Town coming soon.
Thank you. Yes, that's what I was thinking. Perfect.
literally. And I think that was one of the things that was so incredible about the Nas Summit was to see the cohort of African content creators there. Because I think, you know, when you're on the continent, like I'm in South Africa right now, right? When you're on the continent, you get to know those people, you get to see those people, but what does the global reach look like?
Right.
It looks different. So to be able to be there with the biggest content creators from India and the Philippines and the US to all be in the same room was really special.
It was so cool. It was honestly so cool. And the different panels they had was amazing as well. And we got to meet through that. So we love to see it.
Yay! We love it!
Yes, sir.
That's literally like my favorite sound effect.
I love it. I need to hear all the sound effects throughout this live today.
I'm gonna give them all to you, girl. I know you love your little memes and stuff in your videos.
I love it.
I'll leave you with the sound effects.
We love to see it. Okay, girl. So guide me through your show. How does this go?
Yeah. So I'm basically gonna ask you a bunch of questions about your life. Okay. You take all the time that you want and need to respond to them. And I think at the end, so for everybody who's watching, at the end, the last 10-15 minutes, if anybody here in the crowd has a question for the one and only Marintia, you must ask it. So what we're going to do is you see like little question bubble on the side, like to the right at the bottom of the screen. Press there, type your question, because sometimes, you know, the chat just goes so fast sometimes, so we can't really see what's going on there. So to the right-hand side of the comment section, the little question mark with the thought bubble, click that, type your question, and I'll have the fans ask you all the questions they've always wanted to ask you. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Let's do that.
Yeah, so that's the vibe. So, okay, first and foremost, we know that you are everywhere, always. You are continent hopping. You are country hopping. Where are you right now, girl?
Okay, I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm not as around as people think I am. Sometimes content goes up after I leave a country, but I have been traveling a lot this year. We started in Ghana, did Ivory Coast, Dubai, Japan, and I am currently in New York. So
Hey.
I'm finally in New York, and that's where I'm gonna be for the next month and a half or so.
Okay. Okay. So talk to us.
Yes.
What's going on in the Big Apple? What's going on in NYC?
Okay, so the kind of idea I have for my YouTube channel right now is I was in college 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and then I took a break. And I've just been traveling around since then. The idea is to spend 3 months in a different country for about a year and a half. So I've been in New York for about 3 weeks so far. I'm going to be here for a total of about 2.5 months. So, what's happening in New York? Meeting different friends I've not seen in a long time, meeting up with creators, trying to see what kind of videos we could make, and just trying to have different experiences, eating good food. So, that's kind of what I've been up to. But what have you been up to in South Africa?
Oh, girl. Well, I just got back. I was actually in Greece and Cyprus for the past couple of weeks, just
No
visiting some
way.
homegirls there, having my little hot girl summer in Europe because it's the southern hemisphere, right? So it's like it's cold here a little bit right now. So I was like, let me escape to Europe where it's a little bit warmer. But
We love to see it.
me here in Cape Town is always such a vibe. So the big thing about Cape Town, if you are going to come, you need to come like in December. Like we have a name. It's like
Okay.
it's not even. We don't even call it December. We call it December. It's like it happens. Honestly,
Okay.
it's like kind of starting now. It's like a lifestyle. It's an energy. It's like parties every single day of the week. Everybody takes
Okay.
off work. People just drink, live their best lives. And so like even now the parties are starting, kicking up. So I'm getting into
Ooh,
like
okay.
December vibes right now.
Okay. I feel like that's kind of similar to Ghana then, because Ghana's kind of December is when it comes to life, and Ghana does have an everyday party culture as well. So okay, that's kind of similar. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I love that even though you're like West Africa, all the way at the top of the continent, the bottom of the continent is still rocking. We got that
Okay.
pan African vibes.
I love to see that. You have to show me around when I come to South Africa.
Yes, absolutely. Like done
Okay.
and done. We'll go to all the places, all the great spots.
Let's do it.
Like
Let's do
yeah,
it.
it's gonna be a lot of fun. And I think
Let's do
like
it.
I want to talk to you more because you have such a fascinating cultural background. And obviously, people talk about this with you all the time. Same with me, right? I don't know if you heard at the beginning, but I'm half Black American, half Iranian. So
I did. I didn't know that.
yes, so like one time for the mixed kids, always.
Shout
And I
out to
think
the
it's
mixed kids. We out here.
yes, and it's so beautiful because I think that one of the biggest assets of being mixed race, being multicultural, multinational, is that you know for a fact that the world is not black and white because
True.
because nothing is ever just one perspective. Your mom has one opinion, your dad has another, and then you have one, right? It's like it's
Yep.
all these different perspectives. So talk to us about what it was like growing up, and we know that now you've been able to you've gone to Ghana, you've gone to Japan. Talk to us about what it was like growing up in this mixed race household, in a mixed race sort of community.
Right. So it's so interesting that you say that it's not black and white, because my whole life I used to be like, yeah, it's definitely not black and white. And that made it kind of easier to see two perspective of things. But the older I get, things not being black and white makes it so much more confusing sometimes. Because I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? One thing is completely right or acceptable in one culture, and then the other it's not. So now I'm just like confused being at 23 years old. But growing up, okay, so I was born in Japan, but I moved to Ghana when I was 2. And
Okay.
my dad is from Ghana, my mom's from Japan. I lived in Ghana till I was 10, and then my mom kind of wanted to have me experience Japanese culture. So we moved to Japan when I was 10 for middle school. Did 3 years in Japan. Then they were like, okay, maybe you should go to school in Canada for high school. So I was like, okay, cool. So I go to school in Canada, but it ends up not being for the whole of high school, just 1 year. Then
Okay.
I ended up going back to Ghana, do the rest of my 3 years of high school in Ghana, go to college in Atlanta, drop out, and here we are. So that
Oh
was
my
a
gosh.
lot. So I don't know if you were able to keep track of what I was saying, but that's kind of the general idea.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow, wow. Okay, so you were really bouncing all over the place.
a
And
little bit. Yeah.
so it's interesting because growing up, my dad worked in oil, so we actually moved quite a bit as well. We were moving different states in the U.S. I was born in California, and then we moved to Texas, where my brother was born. Then we moved back to,
Oh,
then we moved to New Orleans. Then we moved to Texas. Then we moved to Singapore. Then we moved to California. Then I moved to DC. Then I was in Bolivia. Then I was in DC. Now I'm in South Africa. So I feel you on having traveled, and I feel like there's two schools of thought. Like some people think that lifestyle was really chaotic, didn't help them to like make amazing friends because they were always
right.
uprooted, and other people feel like now they're like international chameleons. They can be anywhere, anytime because they were forced to do that when they were younger.
Okay.
So how do you feel about having such a dynamic experience in so many different countries?
That's so interesting, and I'd love to hear how it was for you as well, because it seems like you moved around a lot too. But for me, it definitely was a big part of my character building. I'd say in elementary school, I was super shy. I was the kid that when my family would go to parties, I'd just stay beside my mom because I'm too shy to go hang out with the kids. Then, obviously, as you're moving around from one school to the next, you have to make friends from scratch over and over again. So I kind of became less of an introvert and more of an extrovert. I loved meeting people. And I don't know, I feel like if I didn't do that, honestly, I would definitely not be doing a job in front of the camera, even if I wanted to, because I'd be too shy to. But that's kind of how it worked. I feel like it influenced me moving around a lot. But I don't know, it also helps with having friends in different countries. So
Sure.
definitely feel the whole blending into different environments I go into. I definitely have different types of friends. Definitely have a little bit more of an open mind. But what about you? How was it for you moving around as much as you did? And yeah.
Yeah. No, I think for me, I don't know if there was ever a time when I wasn't extroverted. Like I only can remember myself being super outgoing, super bubbly, and the fact that I was moving to a new school, even when I was like in Texas, we changed schools every 2 years. Like so, it wasn't even like
Oh wow.
I was just at the same place, right? So I feel like that developed this innate nature in me to just connect with anyone, anytime, anywhere. I didn't care what their background was. I didn't care what their race was. I didn't care what their religion was. It was just like, okay, I'm here now, so I need to make friends, right? So I tried to figure out ways to make friends in these different environments, even when things seemed like very radically different. And so
Right.
I'm so grateful for that experience. I think like when I talk about folks who are mixed race, like when we think about like the Barack Obamas of the world, like when you're able to see different perspectives, you have a level of understanding of other people that your average person doesn't have. We need more of that in the world.
That's true.
We need more people who can understand that it's okay to have differences, and actually we should celebrate those differences, but we can still sort of believe in basic human rights and fundamental justice and things like that. So I feel like moving and growing up in different places really helped me to embrace that, and then to be able to speak about it.
I completely agree about what you said. I think we definitely need more people that can think that way. And I love that, especially you growing up in different places and you having that type of mindset. You're able to channel that through your live show and everything else you're doing. So that's really cool.
Thank you. And I think it's really reflected as well in your YouTube channel. You are not afraid to deep dive into a certain country, a certain culture, talk about its food, talk about its people, talk about its dress, things like that, and then actually shed light and give perspective to communities and cultures that like so many people might not understand anything about. So what was it for you that like when did you have that magic moment that you were like, I'm gonna be a YouTuber? Like when did that happen?
I don't know. I feel like my friends and we watched YouTube and social media a lot more growing up than we did TV. I definitely had that like Disney Channel era when I was young, but after middle school, I'd say it became pretty much watching YouTube with my friends. So I always kind of had it at the back of my mind that this would be something fun to do. I want to do what these people are doing, but I would say these things and never actually do it. So after I went to college, I went to visit my friend in Boston, and she was like, "You should just vlog this trip and let this be one of the first videos on your channel." So I feel like her actually making me put into action what I've been saying for maybe the past 2-3 years and filming right there and then actually got the channel to get started. But I don't know. I've always liked the idea of doing fun things with friends, documenting that, filming that, and telling stories. So I feel like YouTube was the channel that through which it happened. But I don't know how it started, honestly.
Hey, I mean, having a friend say, "Hey, you should just do this," and then you actually do it. Sometimes that's all it takes. It literally just takes one person to be like, "Marintia, you can do it." Just like
It
do it
really
and post it.
does.
You know, see what happens.
It really does. What's crazy is that I was talking to a friend this week, and she was saying that to do YouTube or anything in life, really, it's not a matter of whether or not you have the skill or talent to do it, because there's so many people who do have it. It's a matter of whether or not you think you can do it and whether or not you actually put it into action.
Yes.
So I feel like with YouTube, I don't think I particularly was the artistic or creative one in my friend group. I definitely did sports growing up. So I had other friends who were probably better suited to do something about YouTube, but it's not really about what you want to do. It's about whether or not you just do it and think you can do it, I feel like. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that. That's actually so similar to what one of my other guests, like a couple weeks ago, this woman named Persian Skater. She like has a food truck and she's like a roller skating like influencer
Ooh,
in LA.
okay.
And she was like, it's really not about the idea; it's about the execution.
Mm.
She's like, are you actually gonna do what you say you want to do? She was like, she basically said when she started her food truck that all these people were like, oh yeah, I had that idea, I wanted to do it too, but I never actually did it, and you actually did. And so same with you, like anybody out there can be a YouTuber. You actually are making the videos and actually putting the content together. And from what I can understand, it seems like you can turn videos around like pretty quickly. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, it seems like, I don't know, you like, I'm posting a video a day. I'm like, what? I'm like, well, I can't do that.
No, so you see, I have to be honest though. I don't think I'm a fast I don't think I turn around videos fast. I feel like I go through phases. So I go through phases where I'm super hyper productive, and that's when maybe you see me posting a video a day or something like that. But especially these past few months, I've been just studying YouTube, figuring out what I want to do with my life behind the scenes. So I've not been posting as much, but I'm going to start posting a lot more towards the end of the year and later this month. But I feel like with YouTube, it's figuring it out, seeing how you can do it the best by yourself. But definitely, if you have the opportunity to get a team, I think definitely the type of editors I have and them going in and out of the team also influences how fast I turn around videos. But it's a grind. It's a 24/7 grind. It's not a 9 to 5 for sure, and it's a lot of hours.
I believe that. I think that's one of the I think that's one of the best kept secrets of content creation, because I think people really they look at your 100,000 subscribers, they look at your 30,000 followers, and they're like, oh wow, like she, you know, like the people just like she just gets followers, they fall out of the sky. You know, it's not like that. Like
it's really not like that. Yeah. No, it's crazy because YouTube, for anyone, unless you're already a known personality outside of YouTube, is going to be such a slow grind in the beginning. So I think it took me almost a year to get to the first 1,000 subscribers.
Wow.
Which people won't believe when they see my channel now, because I've been doing it for about 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So doing it 3 years, and it's at 100K now, and it grew, I think, from 70 to 100K in about 3 months. People won't believe that it was a year to get to a K. And it's not just the time that it takes to post videos, but during that year, the numbers may have been growing slower, but you learn about YouTube while you're doing it and make the videos. So it's actually a very important year, I feel like. And it's definitely not proportional. It's exponential when it comes to YouTube growth. So.
Okay. I love this little like BTS insight from you right now. What would you say, like, if there's any aspiring YouTubers who are watching this interview right now, what would you say to them of like anything to support them, to say like these are a couple of my tips or tricks? What would you say to folks?
Okay, so I would actually, the same friend I was talking to that I mentioned earlier, I think first you would want to make sure that it's something you want to do as a job, because enjoying making content as a hobby is very different from doing it as a job. Because I was talking to my friend and she likes making content for fun. And that's also a nice way to enjoy content creation. You're not pressured about how to make money from it. You don't have to post it by a certain day. So you need to be sure that this fun activity is something you want to make into a job, right? And for me, like, the fun about doing YouTube was the fun of creating content, but it was also the potential to see how I can expand as a career. So it being a job was what was the appeal about it for me. So I like kind of doing it both, the creative side of it and then also building a career out of it. So once you know that's what you want to do, I would say that just start making videos. And it doesn't even have to be videos for the public to consume. Just getting into the art of having an idea, figuring out how to make the idea come into its final form, and just practicing the craft in itself is a fun thing to do. Like, I filmed so many YouTube videos before I even had a channel, just with my friends saying that we were going to make a channel one day. So I feel like just the fun of making the videos, editing videos, making them. And I would say, honestly, if you're comfortable, make it public immediately. But if not, you can do it for yourself and your friends. And so biggest piece of advice is just start creating videos. A more technical piece of advice to how to grow your channel is maybe find 5 creators in your niche that make the type of videos you want to make and see why their channels are doing so successfully. Look at their most popular videos. How do they edit their videos? Do they use subtitles? Do they use music? You know, those technical stuff you can also might be helpful for people who want to make content. But yeah, that's what I'd say. I'm sure there's a lot of things you could say as well. What would you say is an advice you'd give to someone that wants to start a live streaming show?
You know, like similar to what you said, your first tip to just start, that was also the biggest thing for me, because it was like, basically for me, the difference with me is that, like, basically I want to host TV shows, right? And so I told some of my friends in the entertainment space, I have some friends on Netflix, I was like, I want to host a TV show. And they're like, okay, well, what have you hosted before? And I was like, well, I did some facilitation, I did some of this, I did some of that. And they're like, well, if none of that is documented, then like, you know, then no one's seeing it. No one knows that it's out there. No one knows that it exists. And so they were like, you just need to start something, like do it on your own, not for money, not for anything, just to like get your brand out there and to like expand who knows about you, who knows that you can interview, who knows that you can present. And so I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to start. So I basically like, was like, okay, I'm going to have this weekly show. And I lined up the first 2 months of guests before I actually launched. I was like, okay, let me get 8 guests. Let me get 8 people who have said yes for the next like 8 Tuesdays. And then once that's confirmed, then I'll launch and I'll like just find more and more people, you know, as time goes on. And so then here we are a year later, still running every Tuesday, you know?
I love it. I love it. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. You see, go off, sis. I love it. You're doing what you wanted to do. You planned it out. You're the blueprint as to how to, for anyone that wants to create content. That was the perfect explanation as to how to do it. So.
But I think one of the things that you and I have in common is like collaboration. Like you do a lot of awesome collabos with other YouTubers, other people in the space. And like, obviously my live show is always a collaboration. I can't go live by myself. I mean, I could, but I don't want to, right? So like, talk to us about like, who are these people that you collaborate with? How do you find them? How do you identify them? Because you have done some really, really cool videos with other YouTubers, other really cool people across the continent, across the diaspora. So talk to us about these folks that you collaborate with.
You know, I should have mentioned collaboration as probably the biggest tip as to how to start your YouTube channel or how to grow, because collaboration is something I've intentionally done in my channel over the past 2 years. And I think it's the best way to run a channel by doing it with other people. I feel like sometimes the ideal situation would be to have a YouTube channel you run with a group of friends. And that's what a lot of Japanese YouTubers do. You barely find a YouTuber that's doing it solo in Japan. And yeah, the reason behind that is you would barely watch a TV show that had only one person in it. You know, you enjoy watching the characters and the different interactions that the characters have. So if you think about TV shows, and YouTube videos are essentially more casual TV shows that are vlogs. So it's always helpful when you have more characters in a video. Yeah. So I would say that if there's any fun activity I want to do, I would just reach out to someone that might want to do it as well. You know, I saw Amma in the chat earlier. I was trying to say hi, but she likes surfing. So I was like, okay, if I'm going for a weekend to go and learn how to surf in Ghana, I might as well invite another creator who can come along. And sometimes I go with friends, sometimes I go with creators. I think the pro about going with a creator is that they understand that you're also filming a video. And as much as YouTube is not scripted or is not fake, it helps to understand entertainment as a whole and being a character in the video, you know? So that's a pro. And the technical pro that people always want to avoid is the fact that another creator is going to bring numbers, you know? It's the fact that, okay, if you have 2,000 subscribers and the other person has 2,000, you could have 4,000 people watching a video instead of just 2,000, you know?
Right.
So I feel like collaborations is the easiest way as well as the most fun way to grow on YouTube, honestly. But yeah, I feel like that's a great way to have fun, meet people, grow.
I love that. You're out here spitting bars for us, okay?
We're trying, sis.
But look, I think it makes perfect sense. I actually had never thought about YouTube in that way, in terms of like watching one character versus multiple characters. You're absolutely right. Like you wouldn't watch like a TV show with only one person. Maybe a comedy show, maybe, right? And even then, people bring other folks. It's not just like normally one person for the whole time, unless maybe you're Trevor Noah, you know. But like you're so right, that collaboration is so key. And also, I just think this is part of the essence of, I think, being Black and having this like community element. That's always community. Like it's always about, it doesn't matter if you're Black American, you're Ghanaian, you're South African. Like, you know, what is that like? There's that like that African proverb that's like, you know, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, right? And it's like that's the facts. That's actually true.
A fact.
You gotta work with other people.
It's so true. And you know, like going back to the collaboration point, I feel like it's so important to just remind yourself to not have pride. Like I feel like when I first started YouTube, I was just reaching out to anybody because to me, I want to learn, you know. I don't mind being the B-side to the collaboration at all. I just want to learn, meet someone. I feel like in the beginning, a lot of people don't want to reach out because they don't want to feel like they're begging for something. And also just the act of reaching out is not so common as it used to be. So I feel like just reach out to, you know, just reach out to someone. The worst that could happen is they say no, you know. Then you reach out to 30 other people and then 10 people say yes. So I feel like that's so key to
yeah.
And
I think Marintia, that is advice, like for anybody watching here, anybody watching the rerun, I'll upload this on YouTube. Like that is advice that is applicable across all sectors. Like you don't have to be a content creator, you don't have to be in the entertainment industry like me, like whatever job, role, sector you're in, like just reach out. Like literally the worst that can happen is that they say no. And I felt that so deeply, like with some of the bigger content creators I've had on my show, right? Like I've interviewed Nas Daily here on this IG live show. And, you know, and I just asked him, I was like, hey, you want to come on my show? And he just said yes, right? And so many people were shocked. Like so many people were messaging me. They're like, how did you get Nasir to say yes? How did you get Nas Daily? I was like, bro, I literally just asked him. And everybody was like, oh, well, I never thought about that. I was like,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, no, for sure. Just like reaching out you're more likely to get a yes out of reaching out than just thinking about it, you know? So exactly like you said, it's always, and sometimes you have to work to the place where you can, you know, access certain people, which is also completely fine. I feel like a lot of people start YouTube and then they have 10 subscribers and 0 videos and want to reach out to people, which is okay. But then the thing is, number one, when you reach out to someone, they can't even tell what kind of videos you make or what kind of videos you want to do because you don't have videos. And you have to understand that people are more likely to collaborate with people around your numbers so that it's probably more mutually beneficial. So like obviously I'm out here, I want to be Blackpink and all these K-pop idols, but I can't go DM them on Instagram and ask for a collab. So I have to probably become very famous and then have, you know, stuff like that happen. So I feel like that's also the fun. Like there's so many people that I idolize that I want to work with. And it's also the fun of, you know, building my career to the point where I can work with people I admire. And it's just collaboration always and always. Yeah.
I love that. Keeping that perspective that like the success doesn't come overnight. You do have to work toward it. You do have to grow. People will say no. you know, in the beginning, if you don't have the following or the presence that they feel like matches their energy, but then
Exactly.
you know, you keep building, you keep growing, and as time goes on, you will reach that point. Like it's undeniable.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. And so
Hmm.
I'm curious because obviously we talked a lot about the collaborations. We talked about your content creation, you know, your YouTube channel, how you've been able to grow. And I'm super curious about how you decide on the various topics that you want to share because
Oh,
sometimes it just seems like we are literally just watching a day in the life, like every day in your life. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
when I watch your videos, I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm your roommate. Like I'm just like, you know, oh, I woke up, made some green tea. I'm like, cool. Like, you know, are you literally just like, I'm vlogging my entire life, or are you ever like, I'm trying to go with the theme or with the flow?
So that's so funny because I feel like it's a mixture of both. I feel like there's some days I literally let the camera be a fly on the wall and follow me around. And I cannot explain to you why people watch it, why I make it, and why people should even watch it. Because my mom who loves me the most in the world, she doesn't get like why people watch vlogs as a whole. She doesn't understand why I do what I do. Because like honestly, like when I was watching vloggers growing up, she was like, why do you want to watch another person live a very normal life, you know? And a lot of my friends say that. I don't know, I just like watching vlogs while I'm doing my own thing. So
Yeah.
I make vlogs because I like watching vlogs. As to why anyone should have any interest in my life and should watch the vlogs, I have no idea. But I feel like that's why I mix and match it with videos that do have a theme, like you were saying. So, especially with YouTube, how it works is so different from TikTok. TikTok, you can find anyone randomly.
Yeah.
But on YouTube, people have to find you for a reason. Maybe they found you because of a curly hair tutorial. You have to make videos that people search. Oh, is it okay? I think it went off for a
Yeah, you're
second.
still here. You're still good.
So, you know, like people need to find you somehow, some way. So I do have like planned videos that have a theme that I know can bring in viewers a little bit more. For example, like let's say doing an apartment tour in Japan. I know people who want to live in Japan would be looking for those videos. And then I hope that in watching that video, they fall in love with my personality and stay. That's kind of how I play the game. Like people need to find you for a reason, but they need to fall in love with your personality, hopefully, so that they can stay for the entire journey. So I mix and match those fly on the wall vlogs with videos that have a purpose, a challenge, or a reason for people to watch, and hope that they stay for the other videos. And I would say that creating a vlog, there's a lot more that goes into it than people think. I think people think I just carry my vlog and then what happens in the day happens. But if you even watch like some intros of my vlogs, I have the same shot of me making my bed in 5 different angles. So I do the same thing 5 times just to get the same shot in different angles.
Wow.
If you think about things like that, there's definitely a creator intended mind behind a lot of the casual seeming videos. Yeah.
That's such good insight because like I said, this is the things that people don't really realize. Like
Right.
I didn't even think about that. Maybe I thought, oh, she's got 5 cameras just set up because she just has all the cameras out here. You know, she just balling, you know, all the cameras instead of actually like, I gotta film it, I gotta move it, I gotta film it again, I gotta move it. Like that, exactly these little things that we don't really think of. But that's why people do fall in love with your videos and they fall in love with your personality because you give a dynamic video experience. You know, you never get bored when you're watching your videos. Like it's always like there's something new, something exciting, something funny. Even some of the reaction videos that you've done, like what was this platform? I had never even heard of this platform that you and your friend went on where you just talk to random people. I had never even heard of that. I was like, what am I watching and what is this? I was like, honestly, I was like, Gen Z is somewhere else. I don't know what's going on. I was like, what is this? Like what even, like what?
Yeah, Omegle is such an interesting platform. I don't know who made it. I don't know how they thought of it. I don't know how it's still allowed, but it's a crazy platform.
It's for me, for the millennials, us old folks out there, right? It was like those are like the AIM group chats from back in the day. Like we had our little AOL instant messenger. You could go into any random group chat. You didn't know who was there, who was talking. You could branch off and have a side chat. Now you do that, but like videos. Oh my
Exactly. Omegle is so weird, and it's interesting you say that because I feel like Omegle trended first when I was about 10 or 11, and then it was like this platform that I remember as kids. It was like you're not allowed to go on as a kid. It's a dangerous platform, and then it's a platform every kid went on because they were like, oh, we're not supposed to go on there. And now that we're grown, we just go on there again.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
so
Okay. I think I need to go on one day just to like check it out and see what's going
I know,
on there.
that could be too.
Literally, maybe I'll do that. I'll go live with random people on Omegle and see what happens. But I gotta give you a little shout out. There's Princess in the chat saying your videos help me get through a rough patch. Thank you, Marintia. That is
that's so sweet. Thank you, Princess. Thank you so much.
Very, very sweet. And then I see someone else. I'm Ashley G saying come through face. So maybe she likes my little lippy.
Yes.
Gotta be cute out here. So I'm loving all these comments. Remember, everybody who's here on the live right now, if you go to the bottom of your screen to the right hand corner, there's a little question mark and a thought bubble. Click on that. Type a question for Marintia. In about 10 minutes, I'm going to ask all of your questions. So any questions that you have about YouTube, about content creation, about cross-cultural integration, whatever you want to ask, you can ask Marintia there in that little thought bubble, and I will ask all of the questions. And if you're not following Marintia yet on Instagram, go to the top of the screen. There's like a little white arrow in the middle. Click that. You can follow Marintia. You can follow me on Instagram. So yeah, go through. Do that. Do that now. Just follow. Just follow. You must just follow.
I think go follow Nikki. Go follow her and go watch every single interview she's done so far.
Yes, that collabo live. We're here for
it.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
but I'm so curious, what made you want to start hosting TV shows?
You know, the answer is very simple. I woke up one day and I just decided.
Oh, okay.
I just decided. And it's funny because I had a whole other life, a whole other career. I literally worked in international development and diplomacy for 10 years. Like I was traveling all over the African continent, facilitating large partnerships for like the United Nations and the US government. Like I did that for 10 years. I had a whole other life. I was a whole different NIKKI BANZ.
Wow.
I was Nicole Banister. I wasn't NIKKI BANZ. I was Nicole Banister. And literally one day I was like, this is not it. This is not for me. I wanted to be more creative. I wanted to be more expressive. I wanted to put myself out there. And I always loved being in front of people. I always loved facilitate. I would facilitate conferences. I've spoken at the UN headquarters in New York. Like I love.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I love speaking.
Wow.
I always have loved speaking. And so I was like, you know what? Like, how do I reach more people? Like more people need to hear like the type of dialogue that you and I have. Mm-hmm. This is the thing I love about NIKKI BANZ Lives. Like every week I bring on a different guest from a different country. So whether you're from Ghana, you're from Japan, you're mixed, you're from Papua New Guinea, you're from Singapore, you're from Zambia, you're from, Cameroon. Like it doesn't matter where you are. Like we need to have more conversations with more people who are allegedly different, who are allegedly like not, living the same lives that we are, to break down all those stereotypes, to break down all those inconsistencies, like what traditional media shows you, right? Traditional media shows you nonsense. That's why, honestly, that's why we need the YouTubers like you to break down, like, I'm half Ghanaian, I'm half Japanese. Here's my life in Ghana. Here's my life in Japan. And now I'm in New York. What's up, right? We need people to do that, literally.
That's so interesting because, like, I guess I didn't know that this was such a pinpoint topic that would be of interest to people until I started doing YouTube. Because to me, I mean, obviously, I didn't think much of the fact that my parents were from different places. And I have a bunch of Japanese Ghanaian friends, so I didn't realize how odd it was to actually know this many Japanese Ghanaian mixed people. So I feel like even without YouTube, I wouldn't have even noticed how much more of a community there is I could speak to.
Wow. Wait, that's super interesting. How do you know a bunch of other Japanese Ghanaian people? Is there like a little... You'll have like a community, like you'll have a WhatsApp group, like what's going on?
I mean, I feel like whether you're in Japan or whether you're in Ghana, I know a lot of the Black kids in Japan, and I know a lot of the you see, that's interesting too, because I say black kids in Japan because in Japan they think we're fully black. So they don't even think we're mixed. So I know a lot of the mixed kids in Japan, and I know a lot of the mixed kids in Ghana. I feel like you just naturally know. I'm sure if you went to somewhere in the world, you would naturally be able to find people that from wherever you're from. You know, it's like, oh, this is where people are. This is where the mixed kids are. This is where this people are. And I think our parents for sure, because my mom would know other Japanese women in Ghana, and they most likely have a kid with a Ghanaian man. You know, so that way.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I think, like, actually in a different way, for me growing up, I didn't know anyone who was black and Persian. I didn't know anyone. Like, all I knew was my younger brother. I was like, it's just the two of us, Julian, like, against the world. And then it's only as I've gotten older, and again, because of social media, they started to realize, oh, there actually is a community. Like, and there's actually some really well-known people who are also half black and Iranian, like Yara Shahidi, who's an incredible actress.
Right.
Yes, and also half black, half Iranian, this amazing comedian whose name is Tehran, also half black, half Iranian. So it's like, it was only through social media that I found that community existed. And it was like, oh, wow. And even then, it's like different because you could be like from Iran, but black. You could be like black American. You could be like Ghanaian and Persian, right? There's like so many different nuances to the experience, which is so fascinating. But like, I think that's the thing, you know, people have such dynamic experiences. If we don't share them and put them out there, then no one would ever know.
That's so true. And there actually might be someone that might be cool for you to interview. My friend called Pele, he recently popped off on TikTok and Instagram because he makes relatable videos to being either black in Japan or mixed race and having both sides. Makes such funny videos, and I'll send it to you after. But he made a video of him pretending to be a Ghanaian student in Japan, and the girl like hitting her head because her head is itching, and like Japanese people around her not knowing why a girl is just hitting her head, and she has braids and stuff, and making like funny cultural videos, having seen both sides, is something he's done. And through his comment section, I realized that, wow, there's so many mixed kids that relate to this. So I'm sure in the same way that you didn't know there were a bunch of people like you around, social media definitely is connecting people like that. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And I'd be curious, like, you know, I think it's very interesting because when you move through the world, you obviously like identify in the way that however you identify, and then the world sees you as something different. So do you feel like you're always able to sort of stand really firm and be like, this is who I am, I'm mixed, I do this, I speak this, I live here? Or do you feel like sometimes you kind of have to sort of put one culture or one identity ahead of the other in order to like integrate more or relate more in a certain place?
I feel like it's constantly, honestly, having one culture be more prominent or dominant in you at random points in time. And that's not intentional for survival. It's just kind of naturally how it is. Like, for example, if I'm in Japan and I'm sitting in a room full of Japanese people, I'm going to be considered maybe tall or normal. But if I'm in Ghana, I'm going to be short. Just just naturally. So even as much of Ghanaian as I am, and if I'm sitting in a room full of Ghanaians, I'm the least Ghanaian out of that group of people, you know? And if I'm as much of a Japanese person as I am, if I'm in a room full of Japanese people, I'm the least Japanese person. So even though I rep both parts, I understand how, like, oh, I'm not as fully of one when I'm in a different community. For example, if I'm in Japan, I would be considered a lot more Ghanaian just because of what is around me. So I think I don't change myself, but then my surrounding changing naturally highlights a part of myself more. Like, and I probably seem a lot more Ghanaian just because the people around me are all Japanese. But I'm not particularly trying to be more Ghanaian or not. I'm just being the same me, but it would be perceived to be different depending on where I am. Yeah.
That's so interesting. Is there a specific place anywhere in the world that you call home, or do you just call like multiple places home? Or it's like any city, not even a country, maybe a city, or you're like, I'm global, I'm everywhere?
Okay, home in the sense of how I perceive home to be, or where I'm most accepted?
Home for you personally, what you would believe would be
that's so Cool. I feel like even with how I travel almost every 3 months now for YouTube, and when I was a kid traveling around a lot because I was mixed race, I think home is having the opportunity to leave the country and come back many times in a year. Because I love Ghana, and maybe if my back was against the wall and I had to pick between Japan and Ghana as to which one I feel like is more home, I would say Ghana because I've spent more time in Ghana. But I like both places so much. Like also being in the countryside in Japan, where my mom's family is, that's also home for me. But I don't know. I mean, that's a tough one.
I know. I mean, I don't have an answer to that question, so I was curious what you were gonna say.
I have no idea. That's such honestly, a good question.
I feel like I just say, like, wherever my parents and my brother and I are, like when the four of us are together, even if it's like on vacation, when the four of us are together, that feels like the closest thing to home, because that's my rocks, those are my ride or dies. There's no physical place that feels more like home than another. And I mean, at least in your case, you've lived and spent significant time in Ghana and in Japan. I've never lived in Iran. I've only ever even been to Iran when I was like very small, because there's like so much geopolitical tension between the United States and Iran. I can't go there. So at least you actually have like experienced and integrated deeply into both communities and cultures, speak both languages, you know? That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is. But I think also that's the reason why I don't know where home is. I don't know whether it's Japan. I feel like it's both. But that's so interesting, the different experiences we had, with you experiencing one culture a lot more and me having experienced a little bit of both. And that's the interesting thing too, because over the summer I got to speak to the runner-up of Miss Universe Japan, who was Nigerian and Japanese. And
wow.
Yeah, and the year before her, it was the winner of Miss Universe Japan was Japanese and Ghanaian. And yeah, and it was so interesting speaking to her because she had only grown up in Japan, and we have the similar background, but she's only lived in Japan, and that gives such a different perspective. She has such different knowledge and experiences to what I would have ever experienced as well. So it's interesting seeing different people live their different lives and how it impacts them too.
That's incredible to hear, and to hear that like places around the world are becoming so much more accepting of people who are mixed, of people who are coming from different backgrounds and different experiences. That's the kind of like diversity that we need in the world. You know, we need to continue to put people on pedestals and on platforms that can understand a dynamic lived experience and can understand multiple different cultures and perspectives. So that's actually super dope to hear. And y'all were able to have a conversation and also acknowledge that even though your backgrounds are so similar, the lived experience is so different.
So true. Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I can't wait to Ghana or Japan and for me to visit South Africa.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even now I'm like, I feel so Cape Townian. Like I've been in South Africa for 10 years. Like I've been in and out of South Africa for so long now. I'm like, I don't know, I probably understand more about South African culture than I do about Iranian culture, to be honest, at the moment, because I'm so deep in it here. You know, but that's another story for another day. So, okay, Marintia, we have like 5 minutes left. We had 2 questions in the question box, so I want to ask you those questions from our fabulous friends and fans who are here. Shout out to all of you. I'm gonna give you, for all the audience here today, clap for you. And thank you all for being here. We love you. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your questions. I even saw someone saying, what did somebody say? Carrie Bear says there's no need to pick one place. People will always ask, but you do you. That's right, Carrie Bear. You do you, boo-boo. That's so true. I see someone, my friend, Koi Geek Renell, saying I'm an honorary Cape Townian. Thank you. Thank you. So, okay. We had 2 questions here. The first one is from my amazing friend Christine, aka Glenn Dizzle 11, saying that she loves your Ghana vlogs and that she's hoping to visit Ghana soon. And she's curious, what languages do you speak?
Oh, okay. So I speak English and Japanese fluently. I understand Tree, but I can't speak it, and I always get hate for not being able to speak Tree. I completely accept it. I do not know why I don't know how to speak it. But I will try to learn it before one day. Yes. That's a little bit of French, but yeah.
Okay, I love it. International, you can understand even if you don't speak. We love it. We love to see it. All the languages. I love that. Okay, thank you, Christine, for that awesome question. I say we got another question here from Brave Creatives saying, when are you coming back to Ghana?
I don't want to go back to Ghana until I hit 500,000 subscribers. So whenever that is,
Hey.
I will go back to Ghana after that point. But with that being said, if someone has a huge bag for me for some work in Ghana, I might have to hop down there real quick. But you know,
Hey, you
if there's no
get
bag,
that bag.
yeah, that is the.
All right. We gonna put that into the universe right now. If somebody's trying to give Marintia the bag, then she's ready to go to Ghana. Brave Creatives, I don't know who you are, but she's looking for sponsors. I know that she's trying to get some brand partnerships, some sponsorships. So just saying, could be happening soon. Okay. And so you had mentioned that you're not gonna go back to Ghana until you get your 500,000 subscribers, which goes along with this next question from Sammy Wire, who's saying, I love you, Marintia. I love all of your videos. And then the question is, are you ready to cut your hair? Because we know you had a little challenge out there on YouTube about hitting 500,000 subscribers. So are you actually ready to cut that gorgeous hair of yours?
Okay, so I wanted to kind of explain the challenge before answering the question, because I feel like people think I just randomly picked shaving my head as the random thing to do, but there's actually a meaning and purpose behind why I picked shaving my head. So I decided that my goal for this year was 500,000 at the beginning of the year, and it's a goal that I genuinely believe I can do if I do what I need to do. So the tricky thing about like doing YouTube, and this goes more into my personal life, but the tricky thing about doing YouTube is having a lot of discipline and having a lot of discipline, because no one is telling you to come to your job. No one is telling you to wake up at a particular time. You have to maintain a good life for yourself, by yourself, without nobody telling you what to do. Where it's life where we're used to people telling us what to do. Come to school by this time. You need to wake up by this time. You need to have a gym class, working out. You know, life is hard as a 23-year-old. You have to maintain you have to wake up at a particular time. You have to do your skincare. Then you have to make sure your finances are right. There's so much going on, right? But I'll be the first to say, like, I feel like in the past like maybe year and a half of my life, I've not fully lived up to the potential of what I want to live up to. So I was like, I know my potential this year is 500K. Whether or not, as to whether I hit it or not, is up to whether or not I live up to my potential. So why shaving my head? I was like, if I don't hit 500K this year, I need a fresh start for the rest of my life, you know, because I'd rather take the L now and change my life completely for the rest of my life now as at 23 and be happy when I'm 27, 28, than live the way I'm continuing to live. I'm sure there's a lot of people that can relate to, you know, saying that I'll wake up at 5 a.m. every day, or I'll work out every day, or I'll do this. I'm the exact same as you. I mean, a lot of my friends say that I'm disciplined for, you know, a 23-year-old, or I work hard. I don't know, maybe I'm hard on myself. It's a balance of both, but I just felt like if I don't hit 500K this year, I need to change my life now at this point in my life so that I can appreciate it for the rest of my life more. So clean shave, you know, shave the head, go to Bali, you know, for freaking 1 or 2 months, like learn how to box and get my life in order so that my career can fall in order. And I feel like shaving my head is the biggest indicator of the new chapter / new slate and reconstructing my life. So that's the purpose behind the shaving the head dare deal. So I feel like I picked a dare in which whatever the outcome ends up happening is, it's gonna be a W, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
So do I think I do think I'm gonna hit 500K if I do the things I need to. If I don't, then I'm gonna have what I need in that moment, which is shave my head and start a new chapter, which is, you know, it might be a little bit colder on the head, but we're gonna enjoy every single era. So
I love
yeah,
this.
that's the
I'm here for all this, Marintia. It's the ambition for me. It's the hustle. It is literally that idea that like you're gonna accomplish your goals, and if you don't, you're gonna take a fresh step into the future. And I think that that is absolutely incredible and so inspiring. And I'm glad that you shared a little bit more of the backstory, because you know I was reading the comments. People were like, "Don't shave your head," and you're like, "Wait." So you're like, "Watch the video. Watch the end. Like watch and see why I'm doing this." Because
yeah.
there is meaning behind it. It is special and it is significant. And I just think that's so beautiful that you are going to challenge yourself and push yourself in this way. And that just goes to show how ambitious and committed you are. So we know you're going to hit that 500K. We're here for it. Subscribe to Marintia's YouTube channel right after this live so that you can go and be a part of the movement towards 500K.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Nikki, for reaching out to me after Dubai. And I hope there's a lot more opportunity for us to work together. And definitely, whether or not I shave my head, please stay tuned. And everything in life is a journey, and it happens as it should. And you get to meet awesome people along the way. So we love to see it.
Absolutely. Marintia, you are an absolute star. Thank you for sharing more about yourself, your life, your journey with me, with everybody here today. I can't wait to host you in Cape Town. I can't wait to see you somewhere in this big, beautiful world once again. This has been such a pleasure, and I'll talk to you again very soon, my girl.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, and I love you. Same, everything you said to me, same back to you, and I'm so excited for you.
Oh, thank you, boo. Mwah. Thank you, everyone. Go follow Marintia on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. We'll see you next week on NIKKI BANZ Live.
Bye.